Yeah, the podcast, the after show.
Yeah, for the after show. And with the after show in mind, this is not the after show. Good morning and welcome to the Lardest Podcast. Today we have an amazing artist. We've had her on the show before. It's always fun to chat. Ashley Wright. Hello.
Hey,
And then to my left or to your right, I don't know how the camera goes, but for the audio listeners, he's over there. Andrew Rano.
Hey yo.
And I am Mr. David Rano. And welcome to the biggest link. Wait, to the weakest link.
The
No, wait.
weakest?
To the biggest link.
To the
This
biggest
is the
link.
strongest.
Well, yeah.
To the
Yeah,
strongest.
I don't want to get sued by the other people. But yeah, welcome. You are listening to the LA Artist Podcast, where we chat with local artists about their works, styles, what influenced them to start their artist journey, and more. Subscribe so you don't miss the latest episode. And to see bonus content, check out our website on the description below. This podcast is produced by Lorano Gallery, an LA-based gallery and studio space dedicated to showcase work from upcoming artists, as well as provide space for art shows, workshops, photo and film production. Feel free to check out the gallery at loranogallery.com. Hello and welcome to the Lardest Podcast. So this is season 2. I still can't believe it's still season 2. I'm like, it's been
How is this still going?
It's been a while, and again we have Ashley Wright, an amazing artist and just person overall, with her amazing, colorful and resiny artwork and
yes.
whatnots. And again we have Andrew Rano as our co-host, and I am Mr. David Rano. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for, I don't know, I blanked out, but it's okay. Because as artists, we do that every now and again.
We do. My brain is not here. It's there. It's elsewhere. It's probably a Dr. Seuss book.
Yes. And rhyming is hard, by the way. I'm not
We're
even
not
going to
writers.
try. I'm not
Not
even gonna
writers.
try. But yeah, so thank you for being on board. And like we said, this is the second time you're on. It's been a while since you were on the podcast. And I know we've done a lot of shows together. And you've done a lot of art.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
So if anything, like catch us up. Like what have you done in 2023?
Oh gosh. 2023 was such a year. I did 35 shows, over 35 shows. I actually did the tally and was like, oh my
Nice.
gosh, I went to 35 shows. And this is not just live, like me selling my artwork. But also just even gallery shows and things like that. So 35 times last year went to shows. Also had big failures, I started out the year like around March, February with like probably one of the biggest failures I ever had in my business. When I went to Arizona for the Fountain Hills Fine Art Craft Show.
Would you do it again?
Nar.
Nar.
That was like one of the biggest expenditures ever. And then I was silly enough to talk about this online and on TikTok, where my video, I made a silly, stupid video.
It blew up.
It blew up to like
Crazy.
millions of views, 3 to like 5 million views, I think, before I took it down.
Yeah.
And it was just so overwhelming, the amount of hate that I was just like straight up getting. Yeah, there were good mixed in there, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but the hate was so overwhelming that like I crawled back into a little shame cave and was like, I don't even know I want to be here right now,
Yeah.
But then 2 months later I was at the Beverly Hills Art Show, so
Mm-hmm. And how did that go?
that was amazing. I really hope I can do it again, but that was probably one of the best shows I did last year.
that's why
Like
you gotta
selling big, large paintings.
Local is better.
I know. You
Yeah.
gotta keep it in California. You cannot venture outside of California. I do not recommend it, especially Arizona.
Yeah. Unless you are outside of California, then
Then yeah,
you-
let
again,
us
keep it
know.
local.
Local, yeah.
Yeah, keep it local.
Don't go to the next states over. It's not always worth it.
Yeah, because you do have a lot of logistics that you have to go through from not just the travel aspect of it, but like, okay, where are you gonna stay?
Yeah.
What are you gonna eat?
Yeah, because that
Like-
Arizona one was like 3-day show or something like
It was
that.
a 3-day show. A lot of the artists brought RVs and would camp in RVs,
Yeah.
but I stayed outside of the town of Fountain Hills because that's a really expensive community,
Yeah.
6 to 8 figure people.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in like Tempe, which
Okay.
is about 45 minutes away from where this place was, in probably one of the crankiest looking old motels ever. I mean, the place smelled like cigarettes when you walk in.
Trying to save money on.
Yeah,
hotel
you gotta
rooms.
save money where you can.
yeah.
It's a place to lay your head. It's next to a Whataburger. I can't complain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually what we do when we do shows. Like even when we go to San Francisco, like we never stay in San Francisco.
Oh gosh, no.
Like we usually stay either next to the airport or a little bit further down, just because.
Yeah. 30 minutes away. So
Yeah, and because we're from LA, it's like a 30-minute drive is nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Doesn't
like,
even compute.
yeah, I don't like every now and again, like we would be like, well, if there's a cheaper hotel in San Jose, it's like we're willing to like stay in San Jose and then
Yeah.
just drive up to San Francisco to do the show and then come back to the hotel, and it's like it's still not a bad drive.
No,
And but yeah, it is the logistics of it.
it's a lot. So I mean, oof. I don't know if I always recommend that kind of venture. It was nice to try out, and I think
Yeah.
you should try out things, especially as you're discovering yourself as an artist and continuing your career. You want to find out what's working for you and what doesn't. And I was like, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I think we did a show in Arizona, Phoenix. We did a show in Phoenix. It was a 1-day show. Less expensive than your show, cause like
Well, it was
it's-
pancake.
it was with
Pancakes and
with
booze?
pancakes
Yeah,
and
pancakes
booze.
and
So I think I submitted 6 paintings at $15 per painting.
Mm-hmm.
Plus like the first 2 were free. So I spent $60 just to be part of the show. And then we drove over there, so it's like the gas money that way. And then we got a hotel not too far, not too close, which wasn't too expensive. So overall, I think we spent around $350
Wow.
or something like that, $400. And I think I made about $500, $400, something like that. So it's like it wasn't a loss, but it wasn't.
It,
I
It
mean,
wasn't like
we-
a big win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
kind
'cause-
of broke even ish. So
yeah, because for the show, essentially our profit was like between $175 to $200.
yes,
And that's 2 days with a lot of travel.
yeah,
a lot of,
driving,
you know, a
driving
lot of
there,
driving.
driving back.
So
Yeah.
it's like would have been easier for us to just stay in LA, make the same amount of $500, but not spend the gas money,
Yeah.
the hotel. But it is one of those things where it's somewhat of a gamble.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
do have to do your math right. You have to make sure that it's the right show, it's the right environment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was some like, you lost some money. We kind of like broke even ish, but we don't. I mean, we keep that in mind, but we don't focus on it. Like in our case, yeah, I wanted to see my artwork outside of California.
Yeah.
I wanted to see my artwork where, because it's so colorful, a place that doesn't do that much color, which is like Phoenix or whatever. They're more like muted tones, like
yeah.
all this.
The beige.
Yeah,
The desert
all
beige
these
colors.
desert
desert.
landscapes, which are beautiful.
Gorgeous.
They're so cool. But I wanted to see how my artwork, like the people would react to my artwork.
Yeah.
And I mean, this one guy, he bought it right away,
Heck yeah.
which was pretty cool. But then like the rest of the night was nothing. But then another positive, we saw 2 artist friends that one that I met in San Francisco. She went to San Francisco to do the Pancakes and Booze show over there, but she's from Phoenix. And then another artist that submitted to our show here in LA sent her stuff from Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
then
she's from Tucson.
and she was at the show as well. So it's like, oh, we met her in person over there as well.
Yeah.
So we met some
Yeah.
really
There you
cool
go.
people. So you just gotta think of the positive.
Yeah, you always have to think of the positive. You know, it's like, what's the saying? Plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Oh yeah.
And because doing those shows, like I was able to, like we were able to meet the artists that we've seen in San Francisco, so over there as well. So it's like, okay, cool, we know somebody that's here, and then getting to put a face to an Instagram person.
Yes.
It's also like, oh, even better.
Exactly.
Because like she's always down to do our shows. She's from Tucson, and sometimes, well, for the most part, she hasn't been able to come to our shows because again, she would have to be traveling this way.
Yeah.
But being able to meet her was great, and then like I was able to take some of her paintings, also save on shipping, and then like once we did our shows, you know, we kept them for a couple of shows, and we've sold her art here. So it's
awesome.
like it's great to see other artists like not only entrust us with their art, but it's like see their art sell here.
Yeah.
The same way that like when we travel, like it's great to see our art sell somewhere else. Because again, you know, LA is like that's our home base, but
Right.
but it's fun to have it somewhere else.
But I do want to travel again.
Oh yeah.
Do you,
same. I mean,
do you plan on traveling to other parts that are not Arizona?
I hope so. I'd love to go up to Oregon, Washington area.
Okay.
I feel like they're into like cool, fun, colorful art, nature art, maybe more graphic art, that kind of stuff. Definitely stay away from most of the interior states.
Yeah. But again, because it's a lot of it's the, I guess the cultures, the microcultures,
Exactly.
the styles, because you'll see it in the architecture, you'll see it in, you know, the day-to-day things, even posters or signs or whatever. And so
Oh, absolutely.
Unless we do our research for like the art scene in that area, and then just try to like emulate some color schemes to fit the area. But then when
But
we
even
come
at
back,
that,
it's like those aren't the colors that here.
It's not
so-
you though.
yeah, that's always the hard part.
That is
Yeah.
true.
But yeah, because I do want to do. This is as far as Lothrano Gallery, again a future thing. I think we talked about it.
Oh yeah.
To do a traveling show, like hit up different galleries and then just put a bunch of art in a van, and then just travel with it.
That would be so fun.
And then if some of the artists can travel with us, even better. But yeah, so it's still in the works. I'm still trying to figure it out.
My idea since season 2 is like getting an ice cream truck and then just selling artwork from the ice cream truck.
Old ambulance, an ice cream truck, a
Yes.
school bus, you name it.
Yes.
Give me an old Amazon Prime vehicle.
There you go.
Yes.
Well,
Those are UPS trucks.
I
That's
like
true, yeah.
I like the ice cream trucks because they already have the window open and like
Yeah.
they already
Perfect
have
sale
the
window.
they already have the jingle on and everything.
Yes.
You could even put your
Yeah.
own jingle into it, you know?
Yeah,
that-
make
that
sure
would
that
be
it
funny.
says
Just go
not
through
an
the-
ice cream
through the
truck, but
street.
art truck.
An art truck.
That would be pretty funny. I think it's possible.
Anything's possible. You can put your art on anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, as long as you put your art on anything, because you know it's not possible if you don't do it. You
That's
have
true.
to do it.
You have to do
You
it.
have to do it. And speaking of doing it, like I know you have a new style.
Yeah.
That you
Little
have.
babies here.
So cool.
And do you have a name for the series, or do you have a?
I don't have a series name for anything yet. But I have slowly started to name them because a lot of my thinking around this style and this change has been preservation, and especially like nostalgic preservation.
Yeah.
I especially am one of those people that loves videos about like liminal space, liminal time, 80s and 90s referencing back to when we were kids, you know, the feeling of walking into Kmart and smelling the Little Caesars pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to capture and emulate those moments, not specifically to that genre, but in my own way. And I've had some really interesting interpretations because another person had told me that they found this beautiful in a way that, you know, covering it with resin, there's something beautiful underneath growing, but it's protected. It's like a boundary. It's like you're having boundaries with the people that are viewing your art. They can't touch it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think beforehand I had art that was very textured, very
Yeah.
much eye-catching. Like I want to touch this right now, like I'm
Yeah.
touching the microphone, you know? And I think with something like this, it's just like takes you aback. You don't want to touch, even though it's got the
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Like I could sit there on TikTok Live and do like ASMR.
I know, right? Future project, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Behind a paywall, though. You
Yeah,
have to-
absolutely. You got to send me a glizzy for me to do something.
Yeah. but yeah, because and you can see it even just on the retro color palette that you use.
Yeah.
And do you?
It gives me like Saved by the Bell vibes. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
And how do you go about even just choosing the color palette? Do you look at like old TV shows, old magazines, old posters?
Yeah, so I actually have an illustration color book from the 80s and the 90s. So I look at interior design patterns of that time. I'm really, really inspired by postmodernist furniture, which was super popular in the 80s. You had a lot of stuff that was super highly lacquered, things with very smooth, round curves and shapes. And I wanted to bring a bit of that interior design inspiration into the work as well. Like it's a whole complete universe that I'm trying to create. And the colors, I really wanted to refine down my color usage because I remember one of the comments that I'd used to get about my art was the contrast in my colors and stuff like that. And I really wanted to find a way to have my own color set, my own color palette to work within. And once I had down kind of like what color, warmth, and theme I was gonna sit in, I just started popping things out. And I would go on my iPad, I would just sit there and I'd start getting ideas and I'd just start flushing everything out, using the same colors, playing around with shapes, kind of like an abstraction, which is something a lot of artists will do. They'll take something that they, their theme, and then they'll abstract it. And I feel like that's a lot of what I did, is I took my work and I simplified it and I abstracted it in a different way.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And what is your process for these? Because I know you, I've seen on some of your posts that you go digital first to get like the sketch and whatnot, and then you put it onto canvas.
Oh yeah. So I will sit there. I've noticed that with a lot of my creativity, I'll get like bursts out of nowhere, and I'll have a whole bunch of ideas all at once. And if I don't get it out, that idea is gone. It will be lost forever. And I'm not somebody who can just sit there with a sketchbook or something. I got to really just flesh this whole thing out. So an iPad, having Procreate's been so useful for me to just get those ideas out. I'll sit there and create 10 designs for a painting all at once. And then I'll shelve it, and from that process, from these paintings that I make on Procreate, I go buy my canvases, or I'll make a wood palette, because I've been starting to get into woodworking. That's something I really can't wait to do. And then I carefully plan out how the design goes on. Like I mathematically get out there with a ruler and I line everything out as correctly as I can, layer it, and then once it's dry, she gets the epoxy.
I can see that. I can dig that.
And it's almost meditative. It's a very meditative process. It's a very skill-oriented process, very technical process versus something that may feel more free and emotional. And I just love working with my hands in any way I can. So to be able to bring that into my work more than just sitting there and stroking with the painting, to be able to craft and build at the same time just encompasses who I am.
And with that, like that process, how does that usually go about? Like, do you do it in the mornings? Do you do it in the evenings? Are you a night owl?
That one really depends. I feel like most of my creative designs come out at night, after I've been thinking about things throughout the day. I always keep my iPad on me. Like I will take it to the grocery store with me. I will take it out on errands. And sometimes I'll be sitting there waiting for an appointment and I will have ideas for something and I'll flesh that out. But in my day-to-day practice for my studio, I usually like to spend my mornings doing the boring admin stuff while my Ritalin is still working. And then by the afternoons, I'm like, all right, let's get into some of the creative stuff.
Yeah.
The sun is usually peeking into my studio by then. And that's usually when I start fleshing out the paintings. And I'll work on like 5 at a time because each detail is so specific and has to dry here and then it has to dry there. So it becomes like kind of this like little workshop.
I can dig that. That's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
And because you've been doing this style or this new style for a couple months now, or?
Yeah, I kind of started it in November after I finished that really big poppy sculpture that I did. I had suddenly got the change. But I think the designs for these actually came back in August because I had a lot of different things going on at that time in my life. And I was just like, oh, I want to try out some new ideas, see how this goes.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until November I started putting them on canvas. And it's only now in January of 2024 that I have started to be like, yeah, I'll go show the public this, you know?
Yes. Yeah, because they're very cool. They are distinct compared to some of the first works that we saw from you. And yeah, because the other ones were very textured, again, very vibrant, and vibrant with also dark colors. Because this ones have the lighter. Is that the color of the canvas, or do you also paint it like a beigey color?
I do paint it a beige color, so that is definitely a part of the color palette that I choose.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, that's a nice color. I do like that.
It matches my pants.
Yeah, beige, as you can tell. Yeah, khaki. Almost.
And it's funny because I'm not like a beige person. Like I hate beige. I love bringing in color, but I think there was a way I needed to make the color make even more sense.
Yeah.
And that's what I really wanted to hone in.
Yeah, because I remember even from your other work, like you would use the darker colors.
Yeah.
Like darker backgrounds, like
black. I use a lot of black.
Yeah, blacks and dark purples and.
But it worked for that style though.
Yeah,
it did, and it worked
because
for that time.
Yeah.
And do you ever see yourself maybe doing a mixture of that, like inverting, so it could be the beige could be blacks?
You know, I probably see it. You know, I probably won't stick with just one color palette or design forever. I definitely want to experiment and continue to experiment. I feel like I'm driven to experiment with my creative work. I know that's annoying for like a business marketing aspect, but from like an artist aspect, it's like the ultimate goal to keep trying and keep creating, doing things you're not used to doing.
Yeah. And I feel like that again, as on the artist side, being able to switch your styles and grow your styles makes you a more versatile artist.
Yeah, and you never know what you can pull out of yourself. You really never know.
And it even makes some of your older work be like, okay, that's more limited edition, so because I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that anymore. Whatever prints I have left, or that's what I have left.
So either get it now or forever hold your peace, you know?
Exactly.
But that's cool. And then even on your business side, like, because how do you handle that aspect of it? Like, do you have any tips or any inspiration that you got from other people?
I think tips or inspiration wise, my only thing is I had to think about really how everything looks aesthetically as well. You got to think about how your business is being portrayed, because I really love marketing and branding. In addition to just painting things, I love to be able to create designs and brands for businesses. But when I started to change all of this, I was like, oh, crud. You know, I had this whole theme going for so long, even though it was subtle. I got to change around fonts on my website. I created a new logo out of nowhere because of this. I refined my logo and changed it a bit.
I even saw just your signature. Now it's just AW.
Yeah.
Which like that wasn't your signature before.
Yeah, no, I have some cursive signatures and stuff. I've been trying out this signature. I don't know if I like it yet. You know, it's a little give or take.
Put it on the side.
That's what I started doing with some of the others.
Yeah, I noticed. I was
now.
like, oh, they're not on the front of the painting. It keeps it clean, and then the signature on the side. Yeah, I've seen other artists also like sign it on the side of the paintings. Yeah.
I like it, especially if you have a design that's just very simple. I don't want to say simple, but like if it's minimalist.
Yeah,
because
you don't want your signature to
take away from the piece.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, also thinking about my pieces, I also thought about framing, because that's something I want to be also encompassing the art piece. I want it to be a part of it. So I'm now ordering colored acrylic sheets, and I plan on making custom acrylic frames, colored acrylic frames for the paintings. So like I look at a lot of, you know, artists nowadays that have not necessarily big followings, but they're known in the art world or whatnot. And they have everything. They're not just thinking about, okay, I made this painting and it's great. No, they're thinking about how their framing looks
Yeah.
on the painting? What kind of certificates are they offering with their paintings? What is the complete package you get when you buy their work?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's a business.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we try to the simplest way that you can start is making sure like your artwork is hand ready.
Yeah.
If it's hand ready, the buyer can literally, all they have to do is just put a nail, or they probably have a nail in their wall,
Right.
and all they have to do is just hang it. But if it's not hang ready, if you're not putting those extra steps,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and you expect the customer, the client, the collector to
You
do
want
that
them to
work,
do it. Mm.
then they're gonna be like, I don't want to do that. That's
It's like it takes value away
Yeah.
from what you're doing.
You
Yeah.
wanna make it as easy as possible for the collector.
Yeah.
That's why like those other artists that also like do their own custom frames, because it's focused on the artwork. You don't want the collector to be like, oh, all right, I bought this painting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta go to a framer to see like what frames go well with it.
Exactly.
And then I have to go to
And then spend
another
money on
person
that,
to wire it.
and then spend
Another
money on
person,
that,
yeah.
and then
It's like, all right, cool. If you have frames that match the painting itself, oh, cool. You have the painting and you have the frames.
Yeah.
Like, let's just get everything here.
It's one and done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because that you definitely want to make sure that your art. It's not, obviously, you have to get good art, but you have to make it be presentable
Mm-hmm.
as a complete package. So when they pay you, it's like, okay, they just take it, and it's easy for them to just hang it and appreciate it, and
Exactly.
it's good to go. Even on, because I know we do that, like for Andy's smaller robots, like we put it in a bag. That's a custom made bag specifically for that.
I commented on that
Yeah.
once. I was like, those bags are so
Yeah.
awesome. Like you notice those details.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the collectors notice that
Yes.
more than anything. The collectors notice they notice even on the type of frame, type of canvases that you use.
Yeah.
Are they good canvases? Are they bad canvases? It's like, are they tight? Are they loose? Do they wobble?
Have you had like people look at the back of your canvas? Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had people, they're like, oh yeah, this is cool. It's like, oh, you're like, can I see the back? You're like, yeah, sure, yeah. That's how you could tell like they're serious collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they want to know that it's a high quality canvas that is gonna last more than 2 years.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Because it's
last,
an investment for
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
something to last 50 years, 100 years or
Mhm.
more.
yeah.
Especially on the higher priced paintings.
Big
It's
ticket
like, yeah.
items.
Yeah, they're like, is it worth it? Like, oh, it is worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, because like we do it on a daily day basis. Daily day. We do it. Yeah, we do it on a daily day basis on even like clothing that we buy. Like, why do we spend more money on specific clothing than others? Because we know it's gonna last.
Yeah.
It's not just it looks good, but it's good quality. It's made well. It's
Yeah,
All in those details.
it's all in the details, because you can
You look-
easily just
you
get
look at
cheap
the back
clothing
of the
and it
shirt.
yeah, because you can
Is this
easily
made of 100% cotton or is this polyester?
yeah, or polycotton, the
Oh.
mixture, or is it just straight nylon? So you're just wearing plastic, But yeah, like those things, like we do that even with food. Like, is it good quality food? Are we
That's
willing
true.
to pay more for good quality food, or just get cheap food that is gonna make our stomach turn?
Cheap food. I have an iron stomach. I'm fine.
Wait, Taco Bell never took me down.
Yeah, either that or you want to lose weight. Okay, get cheap.
There you go.
But yeah, so the same way we look at daily day stuff,
Yeah.
like do that with our art. Make
And-
sure it's daily day approved.
Absolutely.
Word of the day.
Daily day.
The daily double.
Yeah, the double daily day double daily. But yeah, on a daily basis you have to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's basically been the focus of my stuff.
Are you working on anything bigger than what you brought, or is it like, because these are like 10 by 20?
Yeah. 12 by 16.
12 by 16.
And then 8
12
by 8s.
Yeah.
I have one design for a 48 by 24
Ooh.
resin piece, but that one specifically, the design I did for it, I really want to layer some of the design in between the resin. And a 48 by 24 canvas is going to cost a lot of moolah to resin.
Yes.
And do layering.
Yes.
So that's like a project that's going to sit. Maybe I can get a grant for it. Something like that, you know.
I'll pitch in. I got $5.
I'll
I'll
bring around a can,
a
like,
Kickstarter, a GoFundMe,
for the one piece.
for this one piece.
Yes, you could do a Kickstarter, and like people that donate $10, they get a print of it.
You know?
Thanks for helping out for the resin.
I think for the most part, though, I'm going to stay away from really large canvases.
Okay,
They're
yeah.
just not selling for me as frequently right now. I notice that a lot of these size pieces
Mhm.
are easier, more tangible for people. Because I think for the average person, they maybe have $600 a year that they can spend on something luxurious for themselves, you know? And if I'm selling art pieces way out of their price range and my demographic isn't like that, then I want to cater to my demographic that's buying my work and enjoys my work.
And not only like budget wise for people, but also wall space wise. Not too many
Exactly.
people have like space for a big piece.
No.
So yeah.
But something little that they can shove in there that looks really clean and
Mhm.
cool, that
Yeah.
that
Go
goes over well. So I'm mostly hanging out in the smaller sizes.
Mhm.
I have an 18 by 24 I'm working on. So
Nice.
that's the biggest one I have right now.
All right.
All right. So question. As because resin is expensive, right? As an alternative, what about Elmer's glue?
I was thinking about that
The
too.
like clear stuff.
Yeah, like just clear
Yeah,
Elmer's
because
glue.
it dries clear.
It
But
dries
does it dry
clear.
as hard as resin?
Nope. I don't know.
Nope.
it's clear.
It's something.
It's
It's
something.
something that works.
Maybe finish it off with hairspray so it could harden a little.
What about
I don't
what
know.
about just put a piece of glass on top of it? Isn't that the same thing?
Okay, I have this really cool piece that I found in a thrift store up in Idlewild. And it is this 90s art piece that was apparently made down in Long Beach by a custom shop. And it's this plexiglass, basically like sealant, like this plexiglass dome over a canvas. And inside was kind of like the sculptural 90s bamboo stuff, pastel colors. But it was sealed in this plexiglass, and I can take it apart. I plan on refurbishing this whole piece and doing something for myself in it. But yeah,
Mm.
That'd be
that
cool.
glass. So
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, getting kind of into recycling, working with interesting materials.
It's upcycling.
Yeah, upcycling. That is the trendy word for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So what about no Elmer's glue then, and glass maybe, mixing both of them. That way
Elmer's
glue
and
and then
glass.
glass. That way it's hard and it's still.
This sounds like a diorama project I probably made in 4th grade. And let me tell you, I had some of the best dioramas to get in class. Went the extra mile.
Yes. Or just $3,000 worth of resin.
Yeah. $3,000 worth of resin.
Can you buy it in bulk? Is that cheaper?
No. I thought buying resin in bulk was going to be cheaper, so I looked up the gallon size resin, and it was like $200 to get that much resin. And I was like, that's exactly how much I'm going to need for that one painting alone. It's like $200 worth of resin. And I just think about some artists, like, there's some big name artists out there that do exclusive resin pieces on like giant canvases.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, how are you doing this? Obviously, I'm probably pretty sure the answer is money. I know
Yeah.
the answer's money here, and the
Yeah.
answer is you're already famous.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, that is
but
true.
you're mixing like painter size buckets of
five-
resin with a drill bit.
5-gallon buckets. Yeah.
Have you seen the carpenters that do the wood tables and they just resin over everything? It's like,
Yeah.
but those wood tables are like $15,000 pieces. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, man, that resin business. Make some money in resin land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if any of our audio listeners, or video listeners, or any, if anybody is listening,
If anybody
even our
works for
neighbor-
resin,
yeah, if
You know a resin
yeah,
company.
if you know a resin company, a local resin company, like Let us know.
Hermosa
sponsor us.
Beach, the gallery's name is Resin Gallery.
Yeah, but they don't really work with it.
No. That's as close as we've got.
LA, yeah, this is close.
LA.
I know.
LA.
Also, shout out to that gallery. That
Yeah,
gallery's
they're
pretty cool.
pretty cool. But yeah, so you're gonna do bigger pieces, more resin work.
Not so big pieces, but yes.
Also, woodworking.
Yeah.
I'm working on a new piece for an exhibition that's taking place in
Any
February.
any details that you can share?
Oh yes.
Because I don't know this podcast. I mean, we're recording.
This podcast will probably be after February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did the show go?
Oh yeah, how was the show?
It
was
was
so
fantastic. Piece is finished. It's sold.
Sorry, we missed it. We had a David
come
had
on,
a thing.
guys.
David had a thing. You know.
I know.
What a shame.
No, how many pieces do you plan on doing for the wood thing?
For the wood, I've basically started with a shape.
Okay.
Because I wanted to start doing woodcut designs. So I did the show is called Love Notes. And it's all emerging or established artists from the Inland Empire area who have connections to the Inland Empire. So it's kind of like a love note to the Inland Empire. And the piece I chose to do, it's called the Orange Empire, which is what the Inland Empire was known as before it was known as the Inland Empire, because it was known as like the orange capital of the United States. So I'm doing a woodcut heart. The cut wood is already done. And I plan on painting like a peeled inside of an orange into the heart, resining it, and then putting hand-stained wood slats over the top, drilling them in to make it look like an orange crate.
Oh.
So, but in the shape of a heart with the peeled orange behind it. So kind of getting into a little bit of sculptural woodworking.
That's
I grew
cool.
up with a woodworker. My dad was huge into woodworking. So I feel like it's only natural for me to somewhat start
Yeah.
playing around with the
Yeah.
wood tools, and
Nice.
it's something I want to introduce into my practice more. Is like, can I do some wood sculptures, especially with my art? Could I make some like wooden lamps or like some wall pieces and things like that? Kind of expanding, and eventually furniture. I will be making furniture
nice.
From scratch.
from
She's
scratch.
gonna grow the tree and then sew the fabric together, like weave the fabric.
Just like Sleeping Beauty out there every night.
And are you gonna use cotton, or are you gonna use wool?
I
'Cause
think
if you're
I'd
gonna use
rather
wool-
have some sheep. So
Yeah.
I will
So-
have a sheep farm this
Yeah,
year.
sheep farm, and then shearing the sheep, and then doing the whole thing, and then,
Everything.
and then dyeing it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So you gotta grow your own like flowers.
This is completely organic, non-GMO, locally sourced, locally owned. It will come with a pedigree.
Yes,
Ooh.
kosher.
Absolutely kosher. Halal.
Halal and kosher.
What other fancy words are there?
But there will be bacon on it. Yeah, that's because bacon good.
Bacon good. Locally sourced bacon.
Locally sourced bacon. Yeah.
Comes with the name of the pig. Okay.
Yes. 'Cause- why? Because bacon good. Bacon good.
Crispy.
Yeah, none of that soggy bacon. No.
Soggy
Bacon.
That's offensive to me.
I know. But with that, let's transition over, because we were talking about bacon, onto the Quick and A.
My
Let's-
favorite.
Let's see.
Rapid fire.
I haven't really updated any of these questions.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm going to give completely different answers.
Yeah. So for the listeners, go back and listen to the first one to see if any of her questions have changed, because her answers are gonna stay the same.
Yeah. Hey, new year, new me. New year.
Because we barely knew each other last time.
That's true.
So now, so this time, it'd still be the same answer.
Probably. All right. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Are you
Let's
ready?
go.
Are you ready? Are you nervous?
No, I'm ready to fight some of these questions. I don't know why I feel
Let's
it.
go.
Is that red microphone thing?
Yeah, the clown microphone.
Yes. So we'll start again. We always start with some of the basic ones, some of the similar ones. Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Ballpoint, gel pen, or fountain pen?
Or Apple Pen?
I said gel pen last time, but I'm gonna go with fountain pen.
Fountain pen.
Oh,
The
fancier.
liquid of life.
Fancy.
Yeah, so
Fancy,
fancy.
With Indian ink.
With whatever ink I can get my hands on.
Indian ink is the best.
Is it the best
It's
one?
the darkest. And it's like really
Oh.
nice.
But what about colored ink?
You know what? But black is good.
I like the sumi-e, the Japanese ink that you
Ooh.
have to like.
Oh, you have.
It's a block of ink that you grind on the little stone.
and then you add a
Ooh.
little bit of water.
I like
You
that.
usually use that for the brushes.
Yeah, with the Have you not used those?
I think
before?
we did in art class once,
Yeah,
briefly.
That ink is also like really black.
I used to use
like
it a lot.
black,
Yeah,
black.
I bought some sets.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Favorite medium.
Ooh, that has definitely changed for me. I still use acrylic. But it's definitely I'm dipping into mixed media. I would say mixed media is my freaking favorite. So much you can do.
So resin.
So resin.
Resin.
it is.
Resin is your new favorite.
It's my new fave. She's in right now.
Favorite shape.
Circles.
Circles.
I love circles.
Not spheres. Just circles.
No, circles.
Flat 2D.
Flat
circles.
circles.
Flat circles.
Well, you don't really use a sketchbook as we just discussed. So, but I'll still ask the question, and I'll update it so it could be.
Oh.
Do you finish a sketchbook or just buy a new one? But in your case, when you start a Procreate thing, do you finish whatever it is project that you're doing, or do you just have a bunch of half-made ones?
So there is some organization in my Procreate, but there's a lot of like, what is this? Wait, why is there a screwed up sketch of a koala just sitting here? Like, there is everything and anything in my Procreate. So it probably does look like somebody's sketchbook that like threw up.
Okay. Another
Follow.
like a follow up for that, or just in the similar vein. Do you use up the memory in your iPad, or do you just get a new iPad?
Look, I reached a point this year where my iCloud storage said, "Nah, fam, it's full."
Oh wow!
And so I'm now on the 2 terabyte plan.
I know.
And I know at some point that's gonna run out.
Nice.
So we'll see. At that point, I will probably pull out a hard drive.
Oh,
You know,
there you
one of
go.
my portable hard drives, and
Well, what kind of iPad do you have?
I believe it's the.
Does it have a USB-C?
Yeah, it does.
You can plug in a small USB-C like SSD drive onto your iPad and then just work
just
off of that.
have everything from there.
That's brilliant. Wow, technology, everybody.
Just letting you know, and it's been a lot cheaper now.
Or I mean, even cheaper, just get a sketchbook, dude.
yeah.
I went to
or even cheaper, just get another iPad.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
It's
I
super
went
cheap.
to the art supply warehouse the other day looking for some loose canvas, and then I saw the sketchbooks were like, 2 sketchbooks for $5. It's like, all right, this is cool. I don't need them, but I'll get them. They're 2 for $5, like
Why
$2.50
wouldn't you
each.
get it?
Yeah.
I saw the retail price. Each sketchbook was $28,
Oh,
and they were selling at 2 for $5. I was like, I should have got more.
I love me some bargain
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah. So
And-
do the same thing with iPads.
And speaking of some bargain deals, what drink of choice do you usually go with when you're painting? When you're creating?
when I'm creating. Goodness gracious. It used to be energy drinks. That was my thing. I gave up energy drinks. New year, new me. New year,
Nice.
new me.
It's
more-
barely the 10th of January.
New year,
Yes.
new me. We are 10 days of new right here. And still 10 days without an energy drink. So that used to be my mode of transaction while painting. But now I'm either hawking back a bunch of coffee.
Technically, that's an energy drink.
That
but
is
okay.
technically an energy drink, but I was drinking the primes, you know,
Oh,
with
yeah.
and the Celsiuses, so like, and they were wrecking me.
Mm.
So like a light coffee, I'll go and get like the white coffee beans or like a blonde roast, something super light.
Just add a little bit more water.
Yeah, just a little water.
Yeah.
Or water. That's another thing I drink in my studio. Or I just don't drink at all because I am so focused on something. Like I forget to eat, drink, and pee. So That's also become a new thing.
I mean,
that's
the less you eat and drink, the less bathroom breaks you get, the more time you get
no
to
breaking
work.
the flow.
Yeah.
Don't want to break the flow.
That is true.
Kind of smart-ish.
Yeah, because again, speaking of breaking the flow, RGB or CMYK?
RGB.
Why?
She's not printing.
Oh yeah, you're not printing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just using it for sketching. Yeah, I forgive you. I forgive
Yeah,
you
because
for that.
I let the print people figure out what to do with my art when I go to order prints.
Yeah, I have to try to figure out to convert it from RGB to CMYK, and then the colors get shifted, and then they have to tell you, like, are these the right ones?
That's what they're there for,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you pay them for it, I guess. And then speaking of paying people, top song that you're listening to currently?
Oh, Do It, Try It by M83.
Ooh.
It was I was just finished watching Letterkenny. Been super, super into that show. And there was one scene where, Katie finds out she's been cheated on, and then the whole town comes to kick the guy's ass, and that song is playing. And it's so epic. Like, I have just been replaying that scene over and over in my mind, and I love running a song until the dopamine runs out. So
Nice.
yeah. And M83 will do it to me every time. Like, I'll get hooked on one of their songs, and then that's my mode for 2 weeks. So
Awesome.
M83, Do It, Try It. Such a great song.
I like that. Favorite section in an art store?
For me, it's the checkout aisles at Michael's because the way they've ordered their lines, it's like this whole snake of like traps of like, oh look, little goodies, like, oh no,
Like, oh, this is $1.
this
$2 for
$1
$5,
that they had $5 Hello Kitty baking sets. And I was like resisting every urge because I had like $60 worth of like paint tubes in my arms, and I was like, I don't need the Hello Kitty bake set right now, but I do want a Hello Kitty cake.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta wrestle with demons in the Michael's checkout line.
Yeah,
so
you got
I'm a
to.
sucker for the stuff right at the end.
Yeah. Well, again, hence why they put it right at the end.
Yeah, they know me.
Yeah.
I
They do it just for you.
impulse bought a miniature paintbrush, just like a 3-inch paintbrush at the, again, Art Supply Warehouse. Hopefully you're listening to this, but I like your stuff. Because at their checkout desk, they had like all these little tiny like art supply things, and they had a tiny 3-inch little brush. I have my own set of tiny brushes, but I just needed that one. I still haven't used it.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
where it is, but I bought it, and I'm like, now I want to look for it.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I too would have folded and bought
But
that.
I mean, at least it wasn't a Hello Kitty thing.
I know.
Because if it was, I probably would have resisted. But because it wasn't, I didn't resist.
There you go.
It was like
How dare.
added to my 100 whatever
Yeah,
money I paid.
At Blick, they have little tiny animal figures that are like
The little erasers.
they're like little. I don't know if they are erasers or not because they are painted. But I bought a little panda.
Oh,
And it's
I love
that big.
those.
a little tiny
And it was
panda
like
figure.
$1 or something like that. I was like, I'm getting this.
You're coming home with me.
So
And I wasn't even buying anything. He was buying it. Like, oh look, this and this.
Yes.
Mom, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, that section of the stores, it gets you every
It's
time.
the worst. It's the worst. And speaking of the worst, the thing that we always have to eat, but we almost never want to do. What's your favorite vegetable?
My favorite vegetable? I feel like this changes with the wind for me. I think right now my primo veggie is broccoli. I do love a good steamed broccoli.
Mhm.
And seasoned. I like to season my vegetables with flavor.
Well, you should season all your foods.
I would hope so, but there's a lot of people out there, and I'm sure people who are listening, that may not season their food to adequate
Please-
standards.
Please season.
Donate $1 today, and we will help save everybody who doesn't season their food correctly.
Yeah. And then to finish it off, speaking of food as well, always, what would be a good food pairing for this new series?
Oh, a good food pairing for this? I would say, have you ever been to those ice cream parlors where they sell ice cream that looks like it's a turkey dinner with like the little peas and the mashed potatoes and like the shaped ice cream that looks like a turkey leg. That.
I can see that.
Playful, fun, childlike. Get into it.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
Nice.
Although ice cream's not food though, but
Hey there.
It's shaped like a
Agree to
turkey leg, and a
disagree.
turkey leg is food.
Yeah, if it looks like mashed potatoes and peas, then I'm getting my vegetables for the
I
day.
can dig that. Yeah. If anything, we'll fight over that on the after show.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, thank you for participating on the Quick and A, and
It's a pleasure.
and as always, audience members, please make sure that you give her a grade. What do you think? Again, she always gets me with the RGB versus CMY. It's all about CMYK. But again, that's just me.
I just like RGB because it's close to LGBT, and like I remember the LGBTQ lights, you know, RGB lights, LGBTQ lights. It's all one and the same.
RGBTQ.
Yeah, RGBTQ lights. So I just automatically think in queerness. So
There you go.
I can see that.
There you
see
go.
that. I can see that. But again,
that
thank you for
made your
participating.
grade from a B- to a B+.
Yes.
oh, well, thank you.
B
I think I should get like 5 gold noodle stars, and to be able to exchange it for a candy at the end of this.
Oh, there you go.
There's a holes right there. Thank you for participating. As always, comment, participate with us, and if you have questions that you want to ask, put it on the thing, put it on the thingamajigs and the whatchamacallits. And with that, we'll do a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Something that the audience doesn't know about Drew Carey.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then one of the comedians says like, Drew and Mimi are the same person.
Don't you say.
But again, with that, thank you. Hopefully you did whatever the ad did, because it does support the thingamajig that we're doing, and yeah, that's all I got to say to get into this next segment.
All I gotta say about that. That was
That's all.
too hot.
Well, then go away. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So we've been talking a little bit about your new projects, and some other randomness and whatnots. And so again, a question that we asked on the first one. In the artist journey, where are you right now in that journey? Like
In the artist's journey.
yeah, at the beginning, at the end. Are you retired already?
Oh God, I retired when I was 18, to be quite honest, just from life in general.
Just from life.
Couldn't imagine 10 more years of that, but here we are. Gosh, within my own artist journey, it feels like I'm starting over again, or there's like a new beginning, a fresh beginning. I hope to continue my artist journey always, forever and always, you know, maybe reach that established artist status one day.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously I'm still figuring things out, and that's okay, you know. I'm figuring out what works for me still. I'm still playing around with stuff. I have so many skills in my wheelhouse, you know, just growing up doing so many different activities, so many different skill sets, always working with my hands. So I think honestly, it's a period of discovery for myself,
Okay.
and kind of like reflecting on my past, my childhood, which has always been ever present in my work, but I think more so now than ever. And just constantly keeping at play, which I think all artists should do.
Yeah.
Constantly play.
Well, yeah, because you know that's the ultimate goal, to just live, be successful as you're just playing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because and again, for you, what is success? What would you like? Is it having $10 million in your bank account, having no money but a big name, or that recognition, or how would you say success is vision for you?
I think success for myself would be not only having some sort of recognition for a piece or something I contributed, my work, But not just like that being my only header for success. I also view success as being able to financially fully support myself on my work. And then also, how much am I doing for my local communities? I think, being a known figure in your community for the art you produce and work, and how that reflects in your community. Are you giving back to that community? Does that community love you and support you? I think that those things are like the encompassing of success. Like, it's like a triangle, a pyramid, some recognition, maybe national recognition someday, financial stability, and then my communities,
I like that.
Yeah.
And I definitely admire having that community aspect of it for sure. Because again, a lot of people, they think like, oh, I just want to be famous and be known. But I'm like, well, it's better to not be famous and just help others at times.
Yeah.
Because I remember even just seeing, celebrities and movie stars, and there was one thing that that we're talking about, what's his face? I can't remember the actor's name, but they were giving him an award for a series, and they were complimenting him like during the speech or whatever on things that you don't know about the actor. That he like all the he's on TV, he's on movies, but what you don't know is he donates to like 30 different charities. He works with the local communities. He does so much that you don't see. And he's not looking for recognition on that aspect of it. He just does it because it's part of who he is, Yeah. So I think that, like, yes, we all want to be known, but we also don't want people to know exactly everything that we do. That way, when we do work with the community, we're doing it because
we want to. Exactly.
Not because like, oh, there's a camera, let me do it now. Like, no, it's like you just
care less about that. Yeah. It's about the reactions you get from your community too. Because when I did my first public mural for Omnitrans in San Bernardino around this time last year, and I painted live on location in San Bernardino off a baseline. And I had so many people, whether they were driving by, shouting happily, yelling at me to like congratulate me or to say, wow, we needed this in the neighborhood. People coming up to me and saying, this is amazing. I want to come outside every day now and take a walk because there's beautiful art in my neighborhood. It's knowing that your art can make a difference in your community, especially if you live in a community in which there may have not been a lot of funding for the arts. Out in the IE, especially like San Bernardino, Moreno Valley, the arts haven't been as supported as they are starting to be now. So now we see so many more murals and art collaborations, art shows that are actually happening in my area, and to be able to connect with not only with those other professional artists, but also just seeing how excited the local people get about this art. It brings people together.
Yeah, because like that impact, like can define somebody, a younger, artist that doesn't know what to do. Yeah. It's like, oh, you can paint on murals. Like you can paint the electrical boxes, and that's something that.
That's an opportunity for
you.
It's
an opportunity. Yeah, because like as artists, like I remember growing up, like art was just, oh, you got to do fine art, art for museums. That was art, and like, well, no, you can.
There's so much you can do.
You could do custom work. You could do paint on cars. Do paint on walls, paint on canvases, paint on wood, and but that community aspect of it is big.
And I love meeting the young artists too. The youngins that'll come up to me and they'll just ask me a bajillion questions about like, well, how do you do this? How did you get into doing this? Even though I still view myself as like, oh, I'm still starting this stuff. That there's other artists that are like, I want to be where you are right now. Yeah. So it keeps you humble. It keeps you in your perspective. And it's also a way to like kind of take these youngins under your wing or newbies and be like, here's all the information. Because I'm that person. If you ask me a question, I'm not going to withhold information. I will send you templates. I will send you business guides, references. I will give you everything that either I have paid for or I have learned, because I believe that knowledge should be free.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, and that's one of the major reasons why we wanted to do the Artist podcast, to get to know the journeys that the artists have gone through. So other people who want to try it know what others have done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I again, knowledge should be free. You know, it's one of my philosophies with that is, it's like, knowledge is not mine to keep. I learned it from somebody else.
Yeah.
So I should teach it to somebody else.
Exactly.
You know, it's and because again, like, well, with the internet and everything, it's like, it's out there already.
Yeah.
Most of the skills that you have are fundamentals. You can learn them. You can go to school for them. You can just practice them.
Yeah.
So it's like, why gatekeep them?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, why make somebody else jump through a hoop when you can easily just
or
help
go digging
them.
And searching for it.
Yeah, like, just help them from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like,
form a connection with them as well, that human connection. Like, sometimes it's one thing to be like, okay, I can Google how to do this exactly, or I can like chat with one of my art friends who has done this before and ask their opinions and information.
Yeah, and they'll probably be like, oh yes, I remember when I Googled it, and I got a lot of crap, so I'm like, this is what you needed.
Yeah. Here's like the pinpoint.
Yeah.
So you don't have to waste your time searching. Like, I love you, dog. Like, here you go.
Yeah. And yeah, because and it is one of those things where we want everyone to grow.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone grows at different rates. And if whoever it is that you're giving your information to, if they grow faster than you, well, then now you can pull from them. It's like, hey, like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I remember me telling you how to start, and now it's like you're at a point where it's like, can you teach me what you're doing?
Exactly.
You know? And
all the information comes back and cycles around. It creates a cute little homeostasis.
Yeah, because, you know, it's all about being a family.
Yeah.
You know, we're all in the same boat. You know, we're all artists. We all want to have
we all want to be
art
successful.
out there. Yeah.
We all want to be something.
We all want to create for a living.
Yeah. That's what we're born to do. We're born this way.
Yes. But yeah, and then speaking of that, like, obviously, this episode will air after we do it, but we do want to do more networking events with artists.
Yeah.
So artists can meet other artists and get that connections. Because again, even when we're at art shows, sometimes we're like, we don't really have either time to go talk to other artists because we have to stay at our booth. Or we get shy because, like, oh, that person, amazing artwork. So we're like a little bit intimidated. And because I do remember even the experience of like you and Tasha, like you guys I think you guys were following each other on social media. And then like you were doing one of our shows, and then she was on, and then they were like, I follow you.
Yeah, it was like
what?
a collision.
Yeah, and then that grew into a friendship, and then so it's one of those things where maybe all it needed was just me saying like, yeah, she's in our show, you know, and most likely you would have met somewhere else as well, but it is one of those things where making those introductions,
they're so important. And it's just so fun to talk to people now.
Yeah.
It's just such a treat to be able to go to shows and be able to chit chat, especially if you know the vibe is right. You know, like, I don't think I've ever been to one of your guys' shows where the vibe wasn't right. You know, like, every artist felt so approachable, so awesome to talk to. Clearly was a great community from the start. So that also helps. Knowing that you fit in, or that you know you could fit into a certain vibe, really helps as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I always try to do, and like, I know some of the artists that have done our shows, they're a little nervous at the beginning. Yeah. You know, they could be a little bit shy, but I'm like, yeah, like, just if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You know, chit chat, like, oh yeah, and then if I see there's another artist, like, that's why we do the badges. And it's like, yeah, that's another artist right there. Like, she'll do that, and like, oh yeah, that artist does that, and especially because again, when we chat, obviously they know me because I'm the curator, so I have more conversations with them. Yeah. And so when we're at the shows and they're there, I can be that guy, and I'm like, okay, so that's that one artist over there. If you want to talk to them, let me know. I'll do the introduction.
Yeah.
Or I'll just be like, hey, come over here, and like, okay, this is a new artist. Like, she's her first time doing one of our shows, and get that introduction, because sometimes you do need somebody to do that introduction, and because again, artists, they're awkward.
Infamous.
sometimes.
Yeah, infamous for
They're
being
awkward.
Except for my table. If you ever see my table, we're the loudest ones
Yeah.
at the building, and we're trying to drag other people in.
And that is one of the things that I have noticed, and like I think last time with even with Ivailo, like he's a little bit more reserved.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't speak that much, but when he was there with, like, I think it was with you and Tasha, and I think Julian, he was like cracking up and like
Yeah.
smiling and like having a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And like, dude, I haven't seen him do that in a minute. So I'm like, okay, cool.
That's the
a
best
great
thing ever.
crowd. And so now, like, he's more open, like, for our
Aw.
shows and stuff like that. And so every time we see somebody that's a little bit shy, like, okay, it's gonna take some time.
It's
Let me-
okay.
like, I won't go straight for Ashley. I'll ease it up with like somebody else, and then like, okay,
A little lower energy.
yeah, and then from there, like, okay, let's see how you fit with Ashley.
All right,
If-
this
if
is
you-
the
if you,
final
if you knock it out,
Yeah.
that's the final test, and then
all
after
good
that,
vibes.
you're good to
Yeah.
go. Like,
It's
you
all
can
good
talk
vibes.
to anybody.
Mhm.
You can talk to anybody.
Literally.
But yeah, no, but yeah, again, that community, that building, that network.
Yeah.
And,
Because that becomes your life. At the end of the day, yeah, you're accomplishing things, but what are you doing in between that? What are the good feelings that you get from just being a human with other humans? Do you have that? And I know for so many artists, it can be so lonely
yeah.
being an artist, especially if you're, working from home or you're living far out. Like where I live, it's just, I live out in the suburbs. It's so far out from like all the other artists I know. And it can be super lonely just being at home in my studio and working all day. It's like,
Yeah.
where are my homies? But then we have group chats going on
Yeah.
during the day to like talk with our other artist pals, or like even send shows. That's another wonderful thing about being friends with artists, is like they will send you recommended shows or be like, hey, you should apply to this, or like, hey, we all got to apply for this, and like whoever gets in, let's go, It's just amazing to be a part of something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also another, again, goes back to gatekeeping. It's like,
Yeah.
we don't gatekeep.
No.
It's
Here's
like,
the key.
Yeah,
Come on in.
Yeah, it's like, I'm doing this show. Like, you want to do it with me? Or it's like, oh, like, I can't do it this time, but here's the information.
Yeah.
And again, because, we all want to succeed. We're all different. It's not like we have the exact same paintings, so we have to compete
No.
with each other. Like, no. Like,
Not at all.
and but yeah, that is fun though. I do want to do that. That would be something interesting to do, like a large group chat with the artists.
Ooh,
But
chaos.
but yeah, I feel like it'll definitely be a little chaotic.
I know some people aren't going to enjoy getting messages, but you will enjoy my memes. My
Yeah.
memery will
Yeah.
be top
Yeah.
notch, okay?
So I'm like, I thought about it, but I'm like,
Maybe consensually asking people,
yeah,
would
well,
you like to join this group chat?
yeah. If anything, it'll probably like be a Discord or something like that.
That would be
where it could
fun.
like, and then from there it could break into like other different
Little subsections.
sections and stuff like that. But
Asking informational, technical questions. This is the chat for that.
There you go.
yeah,
Ugh, so many things you can do. Bringing people together.
that's the goal. That's the goal. Bringing people together and obviously selling art.
Yeah,
Like selling
that's
art.
like super
Yeah,
important.
forgot about that part.
Yeah, gosh.
Forgot
Yeah.
about that
Oh my
part.
God, my
yeah,
bills,
that's,
my bills.
Again, that's the other segment of of like being recognized, working with your
Financial.
community, and then ultimately making sure that you can live off of your work.
Yeah, the beautiful triangle.
Yeah,
I love shapes.
and it should be a circle though, but
It is a circle of artist life.
A circle of artists.
Sometimes circles are triangles.
that is true. That is true. But with that, again, thank you for being a part of the show. I was gonna ask you for a tip, but I think that tip of just having that as a good goal for success.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, being recognized. So that means doing good work, like good quality work.
Have pride in your work.
Have pride in
Have
your work.
pride in
Yeah.
your work.
And then from there, if you have pride in your work, collectors will appreciate it
Absolutely.
and they will pay you for it. So that's where the financial aspect of it goes. And then if you are getting that financial aspect, like, give back to the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connect with others. Get to know who you live next to. Get to know who does this and that. Super important. And also take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Don't forget to drink water.
Drink
sometimes.
water. Have a good sleep schedule.
Never.
Get some
Not that.
exercise.
Not the sleep schedule.
If you're
but the
mentally
exercise,
ill
yes.
like me, these things are like
Yeah.
super, super important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have your physical health and your mental health, you can't work on your triangle because you're at the bottom of it. You're at the base, and you need to fill out that triangle.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like even with that, like, obviously, getting that help, getting your health in order. And, if you need help, ask for it.
Absolutely.
You know,
There's no shame in it.
yeah, it's beneficial. We go to the doctor for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If something hurts, we go to the doctor for it.
Absolutely.
And again,
If your brain has a boo-boo,
yeah, you
go get that boo-boo checked out.
Yeah, the same way, like, if you're hungry, you feed yourself.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's again very
I need to
important.
feed myself.
Snack time.
Snack time.
Snack time. Bring out the dancing lobsters.
But yeah, again, thank you for being part of the show. We learned a lot. We got to chat a lot
Fabulous.
again, and it's always fun.
Love chatting.
And then again, stay tuned for the next week for the after show that's gonna be out. And again, Andrew Rano is our co-host.
Ayo.
I am Mr. David Rano.
And I'm Ashley Wright.
Ashley Wright. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the flip side. Dancing lobster. You have been listening to the LA Artist Podcast. Feel free to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss the latest episode. You can see bonus content on our Instagram at Lorano Gallery, as well as our website, loranogallery.com/podcast. Stay creative, keep creating, and no matter what, be passionate about your art.